You've probably went the complete wrong direction when it comes to taking action and finding motivation and energy to do things even though you feel lazy, undisciplined and lost. I will help you to do this today. Now, why should you listen to me? Well, I built an aesthetic body by basically just forcing myself to do this with a very simple protocol. I've achieved top grades without even studying, like 75% top grades in every single subject. And not in every single, but 75% of the subjects I've got A in. And then I have literally bench pressed 87 kilograms in under 90 days. I went from 65 kilograms to 87 kilograms in under 90 days. I have also made money online. I've built a YouTube channel, blah, 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 blah. I can go on and on and on. Now, I'm going to show a very simple 3-step method that you can utilize today to get to your end goal, or not really, or start to take an action and being in control of your own destiny. Now, when it comes to the first thing, I want to talk about something called ego shrinking. You need to literally start to subtract your ego. Ego is the enemy. There's a book called that by Ryan Holiday. And you simply need to understand that your ego can be in the way of your own growth. And how does this practically work? Now, your ego is something that will try to defend itself and justify all of your actions. So for example, if you are procrastinating, your ego will justify that with something, or if you're taking action, your ego will justify that with something else. So every single thing that you're doing, your ego will try to justify it in some manner. And what you simply need to do is become aware of these things. And your ego is literally what is holding you back, because what I've written here is simply that you have been conditioned to have a big ego. Now, it's not a necessarily bad thing to have a big ego up here when you are thinking to yourself and having your own thoughts. I am literally very positive about myself. I'm praising myself. I am talking positively. I have a big ego up here, but when it comes to real life, I try to not show it off too much. I don't know if I'm successful about that or not, but when it comes to your own growth, you simply need to understand that you need to shrink your ego when it comes to taking action, because taking action is what will allow you to literally manifest the thoughts and the inner voice that you have inside of you, the fire inside of you that you want to accomplish even further things. And how have we been conditioned? Well, we've been conditioned to be humble and act with humility. But in some ways that is extremely useful and good, because it can help you to be a student, it can help you to be growth minded and be kind to other people and not really show off too much. However, we simply need to use our ego to our own advantage. So when you've started to take action, you need to feed your ego so that your ego thinks that, I don't know how to describe this really like practical, but I will make my best shot. So you need to simply act. When you've acted, you literally need to try to make your ego feel satisfied when you have taken action. And when you haven't taken action, you can't link that to your ego. So do not allow excuses, because what many people do is they make a lot of excuses. And I'm not immune to this either. Sometimes I do make excuses, but I try to be as aware of them as possible, because once we become aware of them, we can literally just kind of like break the ice and then turn ourselves back into focusing on what is important. And the most important thing here is to understand that if you just start to reduce your ego when it comes to like improving yourself, when it comes to like making change in your own life. I'm not saying to reduce your ego when it comes to like believing in yourself, because that's a whole another thing. You need to still believe in yourself that it is possible, but when it comes to this critical thinking and thinking that, why is this even worth it, or should I try this way or this way? Just do something. Just do something, because if you don't act, you will just be left of where you are right now. So you simply need to act. That's the most important thing. Taking action is the best possible way of doing this. Now, your action step here is to define a small habit that you can utilize today to literally start getting results. And this literally has to be extremely small, because This will help you to take action. For example, it can be as simple as making your bed. It can be as simple as, I don't even know, but like going and reading one page out of a book, for example. You just need to have a very, very, very small action step that you can utilize today. It can be as simple as just dropping on your floor as soon as you wake up and doing 10 push-ups. But try to have the same activity for each and every day and try to do it within the same time frame. So for example, I always meditate when I come home from school. I've done that for almost 40 days now. It's 35, 37, something like that days that I've been doing this. And what you simply need to do is you have to just carry this on for every single day. And still, I just want you to know that you still have to have self-belief. You have to believe that it will work, but you probably believe that you can cause change and you can turn this procrastination into something beautiful and make it flourish and everything. Because procrastination is what will allow you to grow, simply because when you remove it and you take away that vice in your own life, you will allow something else to fill in that hole and fill in that gap. And it's super interesting, these things, simply because once you remove one thing, your life will try to fill the gap, and your mind and your soul and your spirit will try to fill it with something else. And that simply needs to be continual growth. It simply needs to be contribution and adventure. Something that you feel like is roaring inside of you, that wants stimulus, but you're having it from an external thing. So for example, if you want friends, for example, you can find them on like video games and stuff like that, and that's perhaps why you're playing video games. Or you feel like a sense of, I don't even know, but you feel a sense of purposelessness. That can also be a call to like video games and stuff like that. Or you feel like you're not very comfortable, so that's why you go into your phone and you're scrolling, or you're going to junk food. You're having somewhere that you literally feel like something is missing, a piece of your heart is literally like melting, but you are literally scratching the itch temporarily with some instant gratification like junk food or something else. You simply need to remove that vice and fill it in with some type of growth that can manifest that same need and want. And this is very, 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 very important. Now, you need to start understanding. You need to start understanding that this will take time. You need to understand that these things will not come over a day. You also need to understand how to literally cause change in your life. As I said, you simply need to define a reason for why you've been struggling with this for such a long time. So one thing I like to do when it comes to my own life, in all areas of my life, is just asking yourself, why am I doing this? Why are you doing the things that you're doing on a day-to-day basis? Literally, ask yourself that, because that will allow you to get to the root cause of your problems and of your own life. Because once you get to the root cause, you can simply start to improve it. Because when you've gotten to the root cause, you can literally think to yourself that this is a sustainable root cause. And if you think no, you can either dissolve that desire, or you can simply build a stronger foundation. And you do that by literally just putting in even more purpose into your own mission. And that's how you start acting. And understanding oneself is pretty simple when it comes to these things. You simply need to spend some time alone, journaling, just kind of like reflecting on life. And how do we do this practically? Well, you simply need to ask yourself, what do you want in your life? What is your purpose? What one goal, if I were to achieve it today, would have the greatest positive impact on my life? And all of a sudden, you simply start to gain some direction in your life. And if you are actually genuinely serious about this, of gaining a crystal clear direction in your own life, go to that top link in the description, and I will personally help you out with gaining a strong foundation and direction in your own life. And this is simply how you start to build an understanding of yourself and of other people. Because you will have to figure yourself out before you can help anyone else, before you can make even more progress. So start to get to the root cause of why you've been acting and the way you have been. So for example, if I would have been scrolling for 10 hours a day, I would simply ask myself, why am I scrolling? And it can be as simple as, I just lack. I just want some more color in my life, and I tried to replace that with some instant gratification scrolling that simply gave me a sense of stimulus and comfort in the exact moment that I'm in right now. And just be honest and open and be humble enough to just express that. And once you've expressed that, it's kind of weird because you start to slowly dissolve the purpose layer and you see through all of the bullshit excuses that you've had for your own life. And I'm not saying this as someone is trying to enforce anything upon you, because you decide this is on you simply. But if you're genuinely serious about it, you can start to look through your own like excuses and your own cop-out methods. And this is simply how I have turned my life around. I think you should follow this protocol because it is so valuable. Now, what you simply need to do is you need to write causes on why you've been acting like you've been acting. So it can be just grabbing a scrappy piece of paper and just writing a few bullet points like, okay, so this thing I've been struggling with and this is for that reason. You don't have to write the whole paragraph. You can just write bullet points and then write a few things else, and just think to yourself, how can I solve this? How do I solve this, and how can I manifest this elsewhere? Because it's likely a part of you that desires something, because every single one of your behaviors reflects something. So for example, if you're struggling to take action, for example, inaction is also a reflection of a behavior. It can simply be because you just lack the mental foundation to actually do that, or you lack the energy to do that. And once you start to do this, you will come up with a solution list and start small by incrementally increasing these things. And once you've incrementally increased these things and incrementally improved yourself a little bit, just 1% or 0.5% every single day. For example, start by making your bed and cleaning up your room. Make sure that your room is tidy. Then what you simply need to do is you go down to the kitchen. If you live by yourself or with your parents, just go downstairs and see if there's anything you can help your parents with, or you can literally clean up something and start doing the dishes, start doing some boring stuff. Because this will help you to build a mental foundation of where you want to end up. And this mental foundation will later on allow you to move into an adventure, move into your dream career, your dream business model, whatever. Because without this foundation, how are you going to be able to take action if you can't even make your bed? And this is simply one thing that I realized in like 2023, I think it was. I wasn't making my bed very, very often, and I wasn't really cleaning my room that often either. But I wanted to get into business, and I wanted to get into like YouTube, and I wanted to make money online, for example. But I genuinely asked myself a question there and then. I was simply like, Victor, if you want to make progress in your life, and you struggle to make your bed, you struggle to like improve your focus with meditation, you struggle to write a few things you're grateful for every day, and you struggle to read for just 5 minutes per day, how are you ever going to be able to take action on your goals and dreams? Well, I wasn't. And that's simply what I realized there and then. I started to clean up my room, and I started to just sort out my own life. And this is simply how you literally start moving and building momentum. And once you build some momentum towards this, everything feels easier. It feels easy to go home and be a little bit more disciplined. And in a year from now, you can literally be at the point where you just love and crave hard work. In a year from now. Because right now, when I'm recording this, it's the 9th of April. And just imagine 1 year in 2026 on the 9th of April. Imagine where you will end up, and imagine where I will be if I continue on this journey. It will give you a lot of hope and inspiration. And as I just mentioned earlier, you should just go to that link in the description if you're actually genuinely serious about this, because I will help you do the same thing even faster than I did. And now, the third step that glues this all together. Take control of your own freaking life. So, start by being bored for some time. Just put your phone away. Or, when you do use your phone, just put it on grayscale. Go onto your settings and search for color filter and then grayscale. your phone will literally be in black and white. My computer right here is black and white because I just recorded a video where I'm drawing on my whiteboard thing. I haven't really decided it, but my phone is usually on black and white besides when I'm recording or I'm color grading or I'm editing a thumbnail. But what you simply need to understand is that if you want to cause change in your own life, you simply need to be bored, because this will also help you understand oneself. Because if you spend some time alone and only with your thoughts, you will simply start to reflect and you will start to understand who you are and where you want to end up. Now, you also need some sense of accountability when it comes to these incremental steps that you want to get into. So when it comes to these things, I'm going to put my paper right here, but when it comes to these things, you simply need some sense of accountability. Now what is accountability? You just need an accountability tracker, kind of like this one that I have right there. So it simply needs to be somewhere where you can check off a few boxes. So for example, if this would be my accountability tracker, I would first of all write the habits right here. I would write like meditation, making my bed, and then maybe doing the dishes. Just 3 simple habits. Like it can be cold showers and stuff like that as well. Then you write the today's date on the side here, and then you simply check the box if you did it. If you didn't do it, you just leave it completely empty, kind of like this one. And if you do it, you just check the box, and you will see that the months start to fill up. And once you've literally had an entire month went by, like 30 days or however long that month may be, you will start to track your results and understand what results you've got, and then you simply need to ask yourself, how can I get even higher scores, and what was the cause on the days that I didn't do it. And I'm not perfect on this either, but this will help you to be maybe like 50% productive, like on 50% of the days you are productive. But besides from now, you're probably somewhere between 0 and 30% productive. And once you've started to move into productivity, you will literally feel such a strong pull towards a new adventure. And then when it comes to your mindset, you need to improve that. And how you improve your mindset, you just have to act. You simply need to do stuff that sucks, that you don't want to do. Just grab something that you like. For example, it can be a piece of junk food, a piece of chocolate. Just sit and stare at it and ask yourself, why have I been indulging in these things? And you simply need to get to the root cause of things, as I described earlier. But just start to do stuff that you don't want to do. It can be doing a few push-ups, studying for a few minutes, incrementally increasing it over time. And you will literally start to make progress towards your goals, because this is how you do it. And the inner fire and your inner voice that has been telling you, and there is a part of you that wants to improve. That's why you clicked on this video, and especially if you watched all the way through. So now I'm urging you to take action with that inner voice and with that inner fire. Remember that nobody knows your heart, so go out and manifest it into your own life. Now, this was all I had to say for today. If you're serious, just go to the link in the description, and I really do hope to get some value out of this video, and I'll see you in the next one.